Diane in Denmark here. We are getting close to Christmas. Got my candle going. I'm doing a wee spot of baking today and I thought we'd share it with you. It's a Danish recipe for pebernødder, and pebernødder literally means pepper nuts. I know there are a lot of other European countries have a similar thing. This is going to be the Danish version as I know it. Very simple. I'm going to kind of whiz through the recipe because what I really want to show you is that you can use the pebernødder for a little game that you can play with the kids. And don't worry, if you don't want to go to the bother of making pebernødder, you can play this game called mouse, moose as it's called in Danish. You can play it with M&Ms or biscuits or something else. So anyway, I'm going to whiz through the recipe with you so I can get them made, rolled, baked, and I can show you the recipe. But it's very simple and it's very basic because, you know, it's an old-fashioned recipe. I've been in Denmark for hundreds of years. But anyway, enough talk, more action. In my mixer here, I've just mixed up 1 egg and let me see, it was 125 grams of sugar. So the egg is in, so we're just beating the egg and the sugar until it's kind of pale and frothy. I can show you that now. There we go, pale and frothy, that's just the egg and the sugar. And this year, I'm trying it with, what do you call this in English? We call it, brown sugar. You know, golden, that kind of, not really demerara, not the really dark sugar. I normally just use white granulated sugar, but my besties, my Danish besties, they said to me that they prefer using brown sugar, a little bit of, what do you call it, demerara? Yeah, not muscovado sugar, just the light stuff. So I'm trying that today. Let's see how that goes. So that's what I've done so far. The egg is in and I've mixed it with the sugar. And then the next part is very simple. I'm taking 125 grams of butter, which is half of this packet. And don't ask me what that is in sticks of butter. I'm sure you can probably Google it. But I'll show you the amount. That is the amount of butter that's going in. Lovely, lovely Danish butter. For all of those of you like me that love teeth butter, you know, we can't get enough butter, and we have this expression in Danish that when you have so much butter on your bread that it leaves teeth marks, teeth butter, tandsmør. So I love butter. Right, so that's going in. So you see that was half a packet of butter. There we are, that's how much is left. Right, and let me just wipe my hands here. Got a little bit greasy with the butter. Take my Christmassy tea towel. I really enjoy having these kind of small things like the Christmas tea towels in the kitchen. I just, you know, it's such a simple thing, but it really gets me in the mood for Christmas. Anyway, so in here now we've got an egg, sugar, the butter has just gone in, and then plain flour. Not self-raising. If you've only got self-raising, use that. It's not going to really matter. Just bog standard plain flour. I've seen recipes actually that you can use kind of wholemeal flour if you want a more kind of oomph, but I'm just using the standard recipe that I've got. And then comes the kind of fun part, and this is where the pepper comes into it. We're adding different spices. And let me just get my spoon so I don't get sidetracked. I always like to line up my ingredients on the counter before I start, so that I don't forget to put something in here. I've got my eggs, and then I've got sugar, and then I've got the butter, and then the flour, and then the next thing, let me just put it down a wee bit, you can see what is going in now. Right, I'm going to start with baking soda, which in Danish is called natron, not baking powder, baking soda. And I've never really understand what baking soda does to a recipe, but you need half a teaspoon. And I'm just eyeballing it here. You know, if you want to, you know, use a knife and scrape it off, and that's up to you. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then the next thing is cardamom, powdered cardamom, and that's also a half teaspoon. And I always like to give it a wee shake extra. It is Christmas. And this is what's going to give the kind of spicy flavour to these biscuits. So we've got baking soda, cardamom. Next thing I have here is ginger, which is called ingefära. Ingefära in Danish. And also a half teaspoon of that. And I quite like ginger, so an extra couple of shakes in there. And Danish favourite kanel, which is cinnamon, a half teaspoon. So you can see it's a very basic recipe. It's just basically flour, sugar, fat. I always use butter, and a wee bit more, because you can never kind of go over the top with the spices in these. Okay, and the last thing is black pepper. And I've got my, you've seen this before, you know I love my gadgets. And this is my pepper grinder that lights up. Hold on, I'll show you here. Where am I? There we are. And I have an apology to make. I think I once said that the sound of this sounds like an X-Fighter in Star Wars. Listen. But I think it's actually a TIE fighter. So if there are any Star Wars fans, other Star Wars fans out there, let me know. Anyway, you want a really good grinding of fresh black pepper, because they are called peppernuts, Pebernødder. And you know, the recipe says about half a teaspoon, but you only live once. Right, a wee bit more. Really excited. I love the sound of this pepper grinder. Okay. There we go. Probably if you're using ready ground pepper, I wouldn't put that much in, because ready ground pepper, you know, in the little pots has a slightly different taste. But this is freshly ground and it hopefully tastes different. Right, okay. Let me just check my recipe so I haven't left anything out. Yeah, so we've got, in here we've got egg, sugar, flour, butter, baking soda, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon and black pepper. Okay, I'm going to turn it on, so let me just switch off the sound just now. Okay, here's the mixture whirring round, and I think I'm just at the stage where I can take it out. Yeah. Right, so this is what it looks like when it's mixed, and you can see it's still a bit soft. And what you can do at this point is pop it into the fridge, you know, or just pop it into a plastic bag. You can also, you know, make smaller chunks of it, you know, separate it maybe into 2 or 3 bits, put it in plastic bags and put it in the freezer, and that way you can just take out a small portion at a time and bake as you need it. And also one of the other things that you can do right now, because if you haven't made these before, you maybe don't know what the spices taste like if you've got enough in there. You can just take a wee bit, I'm just taking a wee bit of the dough from the mixer, and you can taste and say, do I want a bit more ginger in there or a bit more pepper, but actually mine is good. And I'm kind of going to skip a stage today, because normally I would cool it down so it's easier to work with, but I want to get these baked so I can show you most of the little game that we play with it. But what you're going to do is, once it's hardened up a bit, you can you'll take small chunks of it. Normally when we do it, it's been in the fridge, and we make it into a long sausage. Let me see if I can do it. See, it's a bit kind of too pliable, but work with me here. Okay, so we take a piece of the dough, and we kind of make it into a kind of long sausage. It's much easier when it's a bit harder. And let me grab a knife, because this is one of the tips or the fast way to do it. And then you take your knife, let me see if you can see that, and you just cut the mixture into smaller pieces, and then you roll them. And I would keep them fairly small, because that way you get more. Because we're going to be playing a game with them, and we're going to be eating quite a lot of them. And you do want them the size of a small nut. So there you go, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish rolling these. I'm not going to waste your time here, because I hate to have you sitting on YouTube all day. I'm here to just inspire you to get into your own kitchen and make something, whether it's pebernødder or whatever, you know, your granny's peanut butter cookies or whatever it is that you have. But I'm going to roll some more of these, get them in the oven, get them baked up, and then I can tell you what the game is. And when they go into the oven, they're going in at 200 Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, and they'll take about 8 to 10 minutes. They are small, there's a lot of butter in them. Keep an eye on them, because you don't want them baked too dark and too hard. You just want it kind of light golden. I'm interested to see how these ones turn out today, because I can already see the mixture is darker because I used the brown sugar. And I think it's going to give them a really good taste. So anyway, let me do that, and I shall come back and show you in a minute. Okay, and here they are on the baking tray, just about to go in the oven. And while they are cooking in the oven, I think I said they take about 8 to 10 minutes. They take longer than that. I'm going to check after 10 minutes and see how they're doing. And while they're in the oven, I'm going to do a poopa, which I hope you will all remember is a pick up and put away. So I'm going to put away the ingredients that I had out. I'm going to put away my mixer and do a little bit of washing up. So let's see them after they have been in the oven. Here they are in the oven. The oven has just beeped the little timer. They've been in for 10 minutes. I've just turned them around, and I'm just going to give them 2 minutes more, and I think they will be done. Right, here they are. Oh, hold on. Forgot to put the light back on. It's quite dark in here. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Okay, I've got them out of the oven, and as you've seen, I have already done a poopa in the kitchen. Remember, when you're baking, don't leave the place looking like a bomb site. Make sure to clear up as you go along. I'm going to leave these to cool, and then when they're cool, then we can play a little game. And I'm going to need a helper today, because normally the kids would play this game, or I'd play it with the kids, but I think today, I think Christmas Bear is going to be my helper. So let's just cool them down, and then let's sit down and have a little game of moose, which means mouse. Right, so who's all ready for a game of moose, of mouse? Here they are. I've cooled them off a bit. As I said to you, Christmas Bear is my little helper today, because you're not going to see my kids on camera, or the rest of the family. I try and keep as much of my private life private. I know I share a lot, but the kids and my husband don't want to be in camera, and I don't want to share that part either. So anyway, Christmas Bear is helping me today, and the game of moose, you line up, say 5 pebernødder. Let me just show you on the table here. Actually, you can hear Tweet and Sparky, our lovebirds, in the background. Maybe I should have got them helping as well. Right, move out. Hold on. Just move this candle out the way. Advent calendar candle. Okay, so you line up, say 5 pebernødder, pepper nuts. Okay. And you have to think of one which is going to be like the designated pepper nut, or the poisonous one, okay? So don't look. Okay, she's not looking. I'm going to say that one. So anyway, here comes Christmas Bear, and she can start eating the pepper nuts. Okay, so here's one. Okay, I'll just help her. They're really crunchy. And I think that's partly to do with using the brown sugar. I'm not quite sure. It also gives them a more golden colour. Often they're the ones that I've baked before are quite light. Anyway, okay, so she's had that one. And then she decides to eat this one. Okay, I'll help her. It's a great time of year, isn't it? Okay, now Christmas Bear wants to eat that one. But then when she goes to lift up, you say, moose. That's the poisonous one, and then she's not allowed to eat anymore. So do you see how it works? The bear can, your opponent can keep eating until they get to the one that is moose, and that is the mouse. And then that's her turn finished. And then she lines up. You just line up another 5 Pebernødder, and then I turn around and she decides which one is going to be moose, that one, and then it's my turn to eat. And if I pick up that one first, I don't even get to eat one. Now, when the kids were small, my kids are now 17 and 15. Sometimes, you know, kids, they kind of might want to cheat a bit. So what I had them do was, we would, you know, draw the Pebernødder like that, and then before the other one started eating, they would cross off which one it was, so the other person couldn't say afterwards, oh, you know, because sometimes kids, they say, oh, they've maybe pointed out it was that one and then changed their mind so the other person can't eat. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Make up your own rules. And if you don't have Pebernødder, as I said, you could use something like M&Ms, or play it with peanuts, or whatever you want to play the game with. But we really like it with Pebernødder, and that is a huge tradition in Denmark. And if you don't want to play the game with it, if you just want to enjoy them yourself, the other thing is that they make a great little gift. And you've seen me decluttering my Christmas decorations, and when I was decluttering Christmas decorations, I found a few little boxes, and these are really great, you know, in a little tin to give as a gift, or in a cellophane packet. So there you go, another clutter-free gift. You could maybe give a little cellophane package of these along with the really easy, the easy peasy chocolate fudge that I showed you how to make. It's all up there on the Christmas and holidays playlist that I'm doing. So anyway, time for me, I think, to have a cup of tea or a glass of water to wash down these Pebernødder. That was it from me and Christmas Bear. Have a great day, live long and prosper, and let's have some fun out there. Okay, that's it for me, Diane in Denmark, signing off.